I think you need a break. I think you need a weekend just for you, just for yourself. I think you need to step out of reality for a little bit. And I think we should do that properly. Luckily for you, you found this video, or you already know me as Heaven Sent Honey, and you've been subscribed to me for a long time. And I'm here to give you an itinerary for this weekend that you're gonna take for yourself, and you're gonna have a hell of a time. This video, this weekend, is a weekend of pleasure. Like I said, this is a weekend for people who love beauty, art, aesthetics. This is for people that feel like they don't get enough of those things in their life. And I want to give you what I like to call the continuity of ecstasy. That's a phrase that I borrowed from Anais Nin from her prose poem House of Incest. And that is what this weekend is going to be for you. I have structured this so that you can feel as separate from reality and as present in your illusion and fantasy as possible. Now, to prep for this weekend before I get into day 1 and day 2, you need to make sure that this weekend is entirely free. Even if you are always off on the weekends, doesn't always mean we're entirely free, right? You have other stuff to do that you couldn't get done during the week. Not this weekend. There cannot be any real life intrusion into this weekend, at least in a way that you have control over. Like I said, this is about the continuity of ecstasy. You do not want anything to break that continuity. Prepare for this weekend like you were going on vacation, but you're just staying in your town, in your house if you want. For some people, 2 days off in a row, having days off is a luxury. So treat this weekend like the luxury that it is. Do not save any of your chores or errands for this weekend. Do not pay parking tickets. Do not run to the post office. Do not call your grandmother. Do not put gas in your car. Save rational thinking for the weekdays. When it comes to money, either save up a good amount for this weekend if you'd like to spend a lot, or actively spend without guilt. Don't worry about it. I say, for this weekend, do not deny yourself anything. Okay, and when I say do not deny yourself anything, I'm not telling you to go, no part of this itinerary is me telling you to go shopping, go to Gucci and buy a Gucci bag, go and buy a new Mercedes. Like, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying it's not about money, basically, this weekend. But just don't think about money. Also, this weekend of pleasure can be executed any time of year. Doesn't matter if it's warm outside or cold. Doesn't matter. So we'll start with day 1. Saturday, 10 a.m. Sleep in. Or not. If you want to start earlier, go ahead. I generally start my day around 10. But sleep in. If you never sleep in a little bit. Or set your alarm for 10 a.m. Once you wake up, we have to set the tone for this day as well as for the entire weekend, okay? This is very important for you to take these 2 days seriously, if you take your pleasure seriously, if you really want that break from reality. And a surefire way to do that is to get you in the mood through a film, but we don't want just any film, okay? We're not watching like the Marvel series here, okay? Or like Die Hard. We want films that detach us from reality, that do that purposefully. We want dreamscapes. We want disjointed storytelling and poetic discourse. We want the demi-monde. I'm talking about that forbidden life that is permissible to the theatrical undergrounds of like Paris, Berlin, New York, Miami. We want fluidity, melody, entrancing soundscapes. We want claustrophobic worlds of the self. Because really, this weekend is for you. It's for you. We want hedonism and aesthetic overload. This film, after you watch it, like I said, is going to set the tone. You should be walking slow and silent in a kind of like daze, like you're still suspended. You know when you watch a film, when you're like still in it after you watch it, that's what you want. But you want to like really let that linger and have that attitude for the rest of the weekend. Walk through these 2 days in like in a daze, in a stupor of sensation. If you have your own movie that gets you into that mood, then watch that movie. if you do not have a movie, I have some recommendations for you. Ticket of No Return, 1979. Thanks very much to a friend of mine for this insane recommendation. I have not been able to watch this film in English. I watched it in German, and I think the subtitles were in Spanish. I had a blast either way, and this movie actually inspired me to do this video and some of the things on the itinerary. I will leave the link below for watching this film, if you guys would like to. The second film is going to be Daisies from 1966. The third is not a film, it's a documentary, but it's very inspiring, and it feels like a film. It doesn't feel real when you watch it. But Grey Gardens is from 1975. It's a documentary. And then Spring Breakers, if you like trashy stuff. Spring Breakers is one of my favorite films, and it's definitely a sojourn into a fantasy world. That's from 2012. Lost Highway, 1997. That's David Lynch. And then Mirror is Tarkovsky. 1975. I think those are good films that leave a residue. You know what I mean? You don't act normal after you watch these kinds of films. So watch your movie however you'd like. Start your day off with this movie on the couch if you want, with the shades drawn. Make sure it's dark, or in bed with your favorite breakfast, whatever you want to make yourself. Watch the entire thing without breaks. Okay, 12 p.m. It's time to get your ass ready for the day. When I say get ready, I mean get ready. Leave the house like God sent you. Take a shower, lotion your legs, do a face mask, do your hair, wear makeup and jewelry, pick out a nice outfit, your favorite outfit. Whatever mood this movie leaves you in, put on music while you're getting ready that keeps you in that mood. You want to stay on that wavelength throughout the day. But yeah, get ready like you mean it. Wear your favorite outfit. Wear your craziest outfit in broad daylight. Pretend it's Halloween, dress like someone from one of the films that you watched, I've done that so many times. It's so much fun. And act like them for the day if you want. But yeah, bring your fantasy to life. Hold the thread that leads you back to this fantasy. Hold that thread all day long, never let go, all weekend long. Now, after you've gotten ready, it's time to go and get some pastries. 1 to 3 p.m., however long this ends up taking you. Go to your favorite bakery and order 3 pastries on the menu. Or you can just order as many as you think equates to an entree, like a full meal, but order it in pastries. For me, this is like 3 or 4, depending on the place. But be decadent, be ridiculous. Why not have 3 or 4 pastries? Like, why not? Shamelessly eat them without guilt. If the bakery allows, and it's a nice bakery, eat them in there. Eat them inside, or if it's a nice day outside, eat outside. And if it's not so nice over there, then go to a nearby park, a place that's visually enjoyable. Eat the pastries and people watch. Animal watch. Bring your binoculars if you want. Bring them so you can see the world in a more intimate way. Enjoy your pastries. Think about how they taste. Don't just scarf them down your throat because you're hungry. Eat them slowly. Think about the taste in your mind and describe it to yourself. What does this taste like? Be grateful for their flavor. Be grateful for the carbohydrates and the sugar. Listen to the bird song, to motorcycles and muscle cars that are going down the street, to the laughter of people, to the chit-chat of people. Let that be music. Let it be John Cage's 433, where we realize that there's music always all around us without any composition. It's just the noise of the world. Enjoy that mixture of senses that you are experiencing, because we are experiencing multiple things all the time, all at once. And we forget that. We forget how complex our experience is. Take a moment to realize that. Let that envelop you. The taste of the pastry will intermingle with the sights and sounds and smells around you, and together will form a reinforced memory, a memory that you will remember over other memories. Because now you're not just moving through life brainlessly, half dead. At this moment, you realize that there are multiple things happening at once, and you're conscious of that. You will remember that moment sitting wherever you are eating your pastry, you'll remember that moment over the others. All right, so it should be around 4 p.m. This means outfit change. You might say, Celine, why the hell would I change my outfit when I literally spent so much time earlier today getting ready? Outfit changes are important because they mark a shift between one set of experiences and another set. The snobby white people didn't just dress for dinner for no reason. So after you've done your outfit change and you put on something nice, I'm not saying you gotta do your hair and makeup, okay? If you want to, by all means, go ahead. But just change your outfit. Change your outfit into something else. You're a different character now. Around 6 or 7, because I realized that me growing up in a household that eats dinner at 4 p.m. is very early. 6 to 7 p.m., I'd say, is pretty normal time for starting dinner. Now, you have 2 options here. You can either cook yourself a 3-course dinner, or you can have somebody else do it for you, like a friend or a lover, if they're so inclined. Or, of course, a chef in a restaurant. You can go to a restaurant and you can get like a 3-course meal if you'd like. If you're not very hungry, however, if you don't really feel like or are hungry for a 3-course meal, go to a restaurant then and order something off of the dessert menu and have a glass of wine or an aperitif. I've always thought that was a very elegant thing to do. It's simultaneously indulgent because of the dessert, but also ascetic because you're restricting yourself from having the rest of the dinner. Eat that dessert like it's your death row meal, and let that first glass of wine or non-alcoholic cocktail, if you don't drink cocktails, let it really affect you. Really enjoy it. But back to preparing yourself a meal at home. If you do decide to prepare this 3-course meal, make it yours, okay? Depending on the skill set, I don't know what you're gonna make, but make yourself 3 courses. Maybe for you, a 3-course meal is Cheetos as an appetizer, pizza for dinner, and a drumstick ice cream, like for dessert. So be it. Maybe for another person, it'll be a ceviche as an appetizer, fish and greens for an entree, and panna cotta for dessert. Whatever your skill level is, use your skill level, Enjoy preparing the meal. Make something you want and really enjoy. Go all the way. Whatever you do, do not order takeout. Do not order DoorDash. The act of preparing a meal, preparing it, is part of this experience, is part of this itinerary. That is if you're not going out to eat. This is a way to take up time in your life. Talk in the kitchen. Sit on a stool and read a book while something bakes or boils. This weekend is not about petty indulgences involving convenience. That's not about a life of beauty. Convenience, for anyone who wants to live a life of beauty, is actually your enemy. This is not the weekend for that. Eat slow. Take your time preparing the food. Take your time like the Italians take their time. 5 to 8 goddamn hours. If you start eating at 11 p.m., who cares? Just remember to enjoy the process and be reminded also of what it takes to prepare a meal for yourself, what it is to have food to eat. Treat your food with respect. Now, once you've done that, once you have finished eating your meal, which I have it on here as like 9 to midnight, depends on when you finish. This is post-meal, and this is going to happen right before you go to bed. This is going to be a time of reflection. In conjunction with indulgence, there must be presence and introspection as well. Take stock of your life. After dinner, especially in the presence of family and around holidays and stuff, it's customary for people to start opening up photo albums, scrapbooks, going through jewelry and mementos. And, the host takes people around and shares their artwork or accomplishments with people. Or somebody shares their talent, like playing the piano or an instrument or singing. After dinner is a moment where you look at how far you've gone in your life and you appreciate where you are and where you've been. Think back on the past, recount your favorite memories, go through the objects that you have collected over the years. Take boxes of keepsakes out of closets and out of the attic. There is continuity, right? But there also has to be a moment where you stop, too. If you just keep going and going and going, you will forget. Continuous movement means forgetting. This is a quiet time for remembering, for being thankful, nostalgic, being aware of just the general ephemerality of things. Then you'll go to bed and you'll dream. Wow, I'm like turning blue. It's kind of cool. I'm going to switch positions for day 2. Day 2, 10 a.m. We're going to wake up again at 10 a.m. or whatever time you want to wake up. I say at 10 a.m. on Sunday, you're going to wake up to a poem. You either read it in bed with your breakfast or get ready to the narration or an audiobook of that poem. This will help you to stay in that ecstasy and prepare you for the poetry that you will attempt on your own later in that day. Whenever you first wake up in the morning, it's said that you're in a better headspace for poetry. So that's why I say wake up to 2 poems, I guess. So you listen to some poetry in bed, or you read some poetry. And then 11 a.m., you're going to write your own poem about the previous day. If you don't know how the hell to write a poem, the best way to write poetry is to not say it all. Don't say everything, right? Take things out, remove things. And that way your poem or your poetry is it's almost like a cipher. Like if you read this poem, only you will know what went on in that day. Write about a sensation without, what caused the sensation. Summarize whole hours in a single word. A really good way to do this, to practice this, would be, if you want to literally write down in chronological order everything that went on in your day, every detail, every person, everything, everywhere you were. Write it down normally, and then pick that apart. Pick out words, pick out sentences. Write down a detail only you would know. The poem should be almost like a lock, and only you have the key to that lock. I have, for example, I wrote a letter to a friend of mine, and I turned it, I gave them the letter, and then I also wrote the cipher on the side. And I just wrote down, I took out pieces from the poem that were relevant, and I just put them into lines. And that was the clues or the keys to the letter. Let me see if I can find it. This will be so funny if this person is watching this video. I won't read the actual letter, but I'll tell you what I wrote down in some of the stanzas. My witness, Byron has echoed within 3 years. I wait for him or he waits for me. Egyptian music and knots. We decide what to keep and what to release. Rituals of preservation, desecration. Art form or vulgarity. Trumpets sound for the victor. A sewer rat looks up at the concrete sky, shimmering, and dreams of lovers like palaces we hide in. Only I would know, and of course the recipient of this letter would know what this all means, okay? I took half parts of sentences. I took, single words, and I mixed them with other parts of sentences and made them into their own little world, their own little story. I started a stanza with a single word that I defined later in the letter, just make it obscure and puzzling and jumbled up, remove the context of things, focus in on a detail. You'll find it's really fun. Like I said, it's a cipher. And this is how I write in my journal. Nobody's going to know what the hell's going on in there. I think it's protective, but it's also fun. You're taking what's going on in your day, the previous day, and you're making that into an art form. Once you've done that, which shouldn't really take too long, unless you're really having fun with it. But once you're done with that, it's going to be around noon or 1. It's time for brunch. If you want to be a recluse and save money, then feel free to do this in your own home and invite all your people over. But also, just given the fact that waiters do not like campers, again, this is the continuity of ecstasy. You don't want somebody coming in and ushering you out of a restaurant when you're at the peak of your experience. You want to keep it going and going until it naturally phases out, not having somebody else come in and ruin it. There are few opportunities in this world where it is acceptable to drink before drink heavily before 5 p.m. or shamelessly wear a pastel-colored co-ord outfit. But one of those times is brunch. Mimosas, good friends, and engage in good ass conversation. But I have one amendment for the traditional bourgeois brunch, and that is to exclude absolutely all forms of gossip or politics from your conversation. None of that shit. This brunch is instead going to revolve around talking about nothing, the fun stuff, the superfluous stuff. Nothing meaning art, beauty, philosophy, anything that you've read lately, fiction or not, or anything that you've just found interesting that has nothing to do with talking about other people and the way that people talk about other people like it's the only thing they have to talk about. If you need a little bit more inspiration on how to fill your time within this space in a kind of artistic way, I would encourage you to try and speak in poems. And I have an exercise for you. Attempt to speak to people to respond in haikus. Yep, that means bring your notepad and pen to brunch, because you are literally going to attempt to have a conversation only through poetic language. Instead of playing cards or talking about something or somebody, try this out. Haikus are fairly easy to do, and before you know it, especially with some alcohol, it's a lot easier than you think to exchange conversation in a poetic way. And I think, you'll just start over time, like, yeah, you're gonna be writing things down and then responding, and there will be some silences in between, but before you know it, you're gonna start doing it on the spot like this, just improvising, and you guys will be laughing and having a good time. It's a challenge, I think, but it's fun, and I think you're keeping an art form alive, hundreds of years old art form alive, through something as silly as brunch. Like, why not try and speak in only poems to your friends? I think that's sweet. Okay, I don't know. So especially if you're having this at your house, I have no idea when brunch is going to end for you. I gave you a lot of time between brunch and the last activity, but you will need to have, again, an outfit change, because this outfit change, which should probably be around like 4, 5, 6 maybe, it's going to be especially crucial for Sunday, because the latter half of this day is going to be dedicated to an activity that adds dynamicism to your ecstasy. At 6 or 7 p.m., you're going to be going to a sporting event. We have a concentration of very highbrow practices in this itinerary. We need to balance it out with something unexpected, something very unlike that. You're gonna go to a sporting event. I don't care what it is. It's football, baseball, hockey, rugby, I don't know, whatever you wanna go to. A lot of these events happen on Sunday, right? Football happens on Sunday, right? Go to a sporting event dressed in the most ridiculous outfit you can put together. I will leave that up to your interpretation as to what ridiculous is and what you decide to do. I would personally go in full face of makeup, hair done, heels, hat, gloves, couture-esque proportions, probably a trashy, decadent hooker look or something like that. I've done that before. Whatever it is, do not look natural. Do not wear a beanie. Do not wear sweatpants. Do not wear a jersey. Look like you arrived at that game by mistake, but you're having a great time anyway. Get a cheap beer and a hot dog, and you are a walking performance art piece. If you don't want to spend money there, okay? Bring a flask of whatever alcohol you can manage to get through security with. Do not get a metal flask. If you have metal detectors there, get a flask that is not that. But tie it to your thigh underneath a skirt, so you don't have to pay outrageous amounts of money for beer that should be cheap. That is, if you're drinking. I like to drink at sporting events. Another thing I want to mention here is when you're at this game, because it's Sunday, do not worry about work tomorrow. Nobody wants to hear you talking about how you have to go to work. Nobody. And you should be the last person to want to hear that. Forget about it. Before you go to this game, set an alarm on your phone, okay, for whatever alarm you have to wake up for in the morning. And that's that. That's the last time you think about your job. Have fun. No talk of real life stuff is permissible on Saturday or Sunday. This is the continuity of ecstasy. That means you go all the way to the finish line, to the end. When you go to bed, that's the end. Stay loyal to your fantasy and your indulgence. You can complain about work tomorrow, not today. Today, work doesn't exist. Enjoy the present moment. You do so by not allowing tomorrow to impose upon today. Tomorrow is for tomorrow. Now, you might be like, wow, this is super random. Why am I going to a sporting event? Why? Coming to an event like this dressed like an absolute lunatic is about practicing your individuality in a place that is not about individuality. Sporting events are about community, collectivism. It's in places like this where you should be your most ridiculous, most happily self-contained self. You come to this event, but you don't wear a jersey. You support no team. You come to this event to enjoy it with other people, to let them teach you about the game if you want, or just simply bathe in this extremely high energy that is all around you. It's at this particular sporting event of your choice that you practice being yourself among the crowd. It is also in this stadium that you practice not being a pretentious, pompous asshole looking down at those around you. You attend this event to share in the excitement and participate in a world that is not yours. You empathize with them, you sing their songs, you clap, you scream, you boo, whatever, but you remain yourself. You have fun without letting the mass subsume you. Now, of course, this is for people that feel like sporting events, sports bars, and other things dealing with sweatpants, beanies, Coors Light, tennis shoes, and general lighthearted vulgarities are in direct opposition to your aesthetic value system. This video is for those people who love beauty and aesthetics, especially in the traditional sense, theatricality. I don't go for the game. I'm going to a game tomorrow. I'm not going for that. I'm going to hang out with my friends and drink beer and look violently different from everybody around me. I love performance. I love that like juxtaposition between me and those people. It's fun. I may not fit with the group that goes to these games, but I'll be there celebrating a win or pissed off over a loss with them regardless. Just not in a jersey. I'll be wearing Mugler and Manolos instead. Or a 99-cent store hooker outfit. Whatever it is, I'll be there. Beauty is just as much about solitude and even elitism as it is about integration and empathy. That's why both of these things are included on this itinerary. This weekend you should prepare for. Like I said, you should not have anything left to do on these days. These days should be completely free. You should prepare ahead. Prepare like what you're gonna eat. Prepare what you're gonna like wear. Treat this like a celebration of life, of pleasure, of beauty, of the things you like. Take this weekend seriously. I've given you an outline of what you can do. You can do whatever you want. But I'm gonna do this. I do this type of stuff all the time because life is fun. Life is so fun. Hell yeah, I'll eat 3 or 4 pastries in a row. Why not? Why not? Yeah, I'll go to a sporting game wearing designer clothes and looking like a fucking lunatic. Yeah, absolutely I will. That's what life's all about. Life's about nothing. That's it. I am going to post this script for this video, this itinerary, on my community tab, if you'd like it. If you don't want to have to take notes this entire time. Yeah. Leave a comment if you did any of these things, if you did your weekend. Don't forget to like and subscribe. As always, share this video for someone who needs a weekend for themselves or just needs to remember how to have fun. Enjoy life. Especially since the holidays are here, why not do this after the new year, you know, like make January about you. January is the month for you. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'll see you guys next week.